Hello everyone, it's been a while since I've made any updates about my Altum and the Manakapuro Angelfish display tank, and I think it's been probably a couple of months and a lot of things have changed in here. Actually, during my last update I was talking about the algae explosion. Now it's fully under control. Well, I would say 90% under control. There are still bits and pieces of blackbird algae in different places, but overall I've managed to get rid of most of the algae in this tank. So let's have a look at the population first. I have here 4 redback Manakapuro angels. Initially I had 8 and I rehomed 4 others, and I have 4 wild Orinoco Altums. If you've been following my channel, you probably remember that I bought both of these species in December, and I bought them as really small juveniles. Now they have grown up quite substantially, I would say. Especially redback Manakapuros, pretty large fish right now. Well, Altums are growing as well, but of course they're growing slower than Manakapuros, and partly because, well, they're wild caught fish and I bought them juvenile wild caught Altums. There's always a problem that they may not feed properly, they might be a little bit stunted, or they might be significantly stunted, and then they will never grow into full-sized adults. Well, in the case of this fish, this doesn't seem to be the case. They were very good quality juveniles, and they're feeding very well, and they're growing well, relatively well. Obviously not as fast as Manakapuro angels, because Manakapuros are tank breds, so they are a bit less finicky with food. When it comes to other fish, well, I still have here several Corydoras. These are mostly Corydoras CW28, one of them lurking in the background in here. And the rest of the population are mixed group Caracins. There are some marbled hatchets. Have about 8 of them in here. There is a school of penguin tetras, and there is a school of black neon tetras. They all sort of shoal together and hang out together, so I think they're quite harmonious. So that's it in terms of population. I'm not planning to add any other fish recently. Before, I had here a group of Guyanacara cichlids, Guyanacara sphenozona, and I really like them because they were very peaceful, sort of semi-dwarf cichlids, but the problem with Guyanacaras was that they used to dig sand quite badly. They used to pits in the sand. Eventually they have uprooted lots of my plants, so they had to be rehomed for the best, and actually I don't miss them. The tank looks far more harmonious now without them. Well, when it comes to the plants, you are seeing here quite a lot of changes. You probably remember from my previous videos is that I used to have this massive Nymphaea plant, Nymphaea zenkeri, which had these enormous leaves on the surface, on the surface of the tank. It was probably larger than your average pond lily, and at some point it became absolutely unmanageable. So the leaves were so huge. They were like 3 times wider than my palm, and they covered all of the surface. So there was no light entering the surface, and they prevented all other plants from growing. So I cut it down. So basically I removed all of its leaves, and now it is actually over there in the back. It is starting to send out smaller leaves now. So I'm hoping it will grow like this Nymphaea. This is the same species. This is Nymphaea zenkeri, but I keep control of this one. So I don't let any leaf to reach the surface. So the leaves are growing relatively low, and they're very colorful. There are a lot of texture to them, and this is what I want from my lily plants. I want them to stay closer to the bottom of the tank and to produce this beautiful lush dark color leaves like this one here, for example, as well. I don't want them to reach the surface, because as soon as they reach surface they become completely unmanageable. Well, in this corner I also added Ludwigia repens red, which is doing great, and some Hygrophila guyanensis. Also in the back I have some giant vallisneria. I don't think it's doing great, but it's sort of growing, and it would look great if it will start growing properly. The moss is the same, is a mixture of various mosses. Some Japanese pennywort popping up in different places as part of the moss. And I've also added giant sach in here, which is sort of doing okay. And you can see this massive bunch of Limnophila sessiflora. I know that some people don't really like Limnophila because it's sort of a beginner's plant. It's a very simple and easy plant, but I really like the way it looks. It looks lush and really green. It obviously sucks up a lot of nutrients, depriving algae of nutrients, which is what I want from it. And I really like the way it looks. It looks really great and beautiful, so I'm not going to trim it back. I'm actually probably be expecting it to colonize probably the whole backside in here, with a giant wall behind it and all this nymphaeus in front of it. So it is what it is for now, and yeah, I mean, the tank is quite stable. I'm doing, as before, 150% water change per week, which seems to do the job. And well, what else? I keep it at about 28 degrees Celsius constant. I've also added an air stone in the back just in case. Well, the pump that comes with a tank with a Jewel setup, a Jewel corner 350 setup, is good enough. It is providing lots of surface agitation and there's plenty of oxygen, but I decided to add an air stone just to increase the oxygen exchange, just in case, or in case if the pump dysfunctions. I guess I'm quite happy with this tank. It's still a relatively fresh setup. I set it up in the late December, so it's just 3.5 months old, something like this. And the plants still have a lot of growth to do, especially some of the stem plants in the back, as well as this nymphaeus. I also purchased green lotus lily, so it's an equivalent of this nymphaea, but it is supposed to stay green, so I'm planning to plant them in here. Obviously they will arrive as bulbs, and it will take them probably a couple of months to reach the same size as those plants here, but I'm hoping to have this nice contrast between red plants and green plants in here. Well, Ludwigia repens red is not as red as it could be, but I'm hoping as it grows further closer to the source of light, it will be a bit redder. In terms of how I take care of the plants, I'm fertilizing once per week. When I do a water change, I normally add a general fertilizer, a mixture of macro and micro, and that's it. I don't do any CO2. Well, normally when I plant some of the rooted plants like nymphaeus or maybe Sagittaria or giant val, I would put a bowl of pond fertilizer in between their roots, but I would do it only once when I plant them, and that's it. I don't add any extra root fertilizers afterwards. So in terms of the nutrients, I think the plants are getting what they need. At least they grow quite well, and there's almost no algae, apart from some areas like in the back. There's some giant val which has some blackbird algae, but it probably already came with that blackbird algae because I removed that plant from another tank of mine. So that's a brief update. Let me know what you think about how this tank looks right now, and whether you would like me to add more plants or maybe to remove some of the plants. And yeah, please leave your comments, and I'll see you soon in further videos.